Hey guys, welcome back to 5nothing100nothing.com. I am Fugget, and Fugget stands for the fittest underdog guru using intelligent tactics. And today, guys, I want to encourage you to learn to walk before you run. Now, this obviously has different implications, meaning, this could mean in a new career, could mean if you've been knocked down by life and you haven't been running for a while, meaning like running at a higher pace or moving along and being very productive in your life, and you've been knocked down by something, whether it was a death in the family, maybe a divorce, maybe a breakup, maybe, did I say job loss? But a lot of things can knock you down. Maybe it was a life-threatening illness that you've overcome and now you're on the mend. But I think what happens is, we want to get back on the horse, so to speak. We want to get right back in the game, and we think that, these things that knocked us down, that we just got to shake it off and get up and hustle and push and be better now. And I don't think we respect the process, the time it's going to take, the grind, the learning curve to get back on your feet and to be back to running, or running for the first time ever, right? So let's talk about what are those stages that get you from being knocked down to running, okay? So pretty simple. The first thing, especially if you have not ever ran or walked or crawled, like a baby, the first thing that's going to be learned is going from a lying position to sitting up. And, that takes a lot of trunk musculature, So not just your abs, but your lower back, your torso, all the muscles, the chest, the back, learning to use those muscles to bring about a desired goal, which is to go from a lying position to being able to sit up, okay? That's your first thing that you need to remember, or that you might have to do before you're back on your feet. Second thing is pulling, a baby will pull itself up to a standing position, right? And, with that, it takes a lot of leg strength. So if you haven't been using your legs, or you've never used your legs, it's going to require some leg strength. So getting those neurons firing and getting all the nervous system wiring going and building leg strength through attempts, trial and error. And nobody stands from that sitting position the first time very easily. It's a little bit of a process. And if you've never done it before, it's more likely they're not going to take you longer. And let's say you've been bedridden or you've been knocked flat, and the longer you stay there, the longer it's going to take to build up that strength to get up and teach the body, teach those legs again how to move. Think about the movie Willy Wonka, the original one. And, the four grandparents have been bedridden for 20 years, and Charlie finds the golden ticket and he wants his grandpa to go with him. So they go through this whole musical, which I hate musicals, but they go through this whole thing where the grandpa is trying to stand and Charlie, the kid, is trying to help him, and he's wobbling all over the place and falling on him, and finally, for the sake of the time, I guess, in the movie, he breaks out into a well choreographed dance with Charlie. So Charlie's maybe 10 or 12 in this movie. I don't know what the hell he was. And, all of a sudden they're doing this little tap and jazz type thing, but you get the point, right? And then the next thing that, someone will go through, child, is they go from, getting up, pulling up to that stand position to then what's called cruising. And if you've ever seen a child in development, they'll go from standing and wobbling. And what are they going to look for? They're going to look for support. So they're looking for any piece of furniture around them. They're going to hang on to it, and they're just going to scale it. And they're going to start to learn where everything is, whatever's available. And they're going to hang on to that bad boy for dear life. And they're going to use it to get around. When my son was little, he would take a kitchen chair on a hardwood floor. And it was kind of a finished floor. So the chair, had those little type of coaster bottoms on the legs, and it would allow that chair to slide. My son used that as almost like a walker and was getting around with that. So, when you're getting back on your feet and you're trying to walk again, or maybe walk for the first time, you're going to need support, and you're going to look for stable objects or stable people, right? You're going to look for those that you can turn to, that you can lean on, and little by little, you're going to be able to start to let go of those things and do it on your own. So it's a process, okay? From that cruising, now you're getting into walking, right? With less reliance or no reliance on those fixed objects, the furniture, the people in your life that have been there, that are helping you. And the funny thing about walking too is that you're learning to lift one foot off the ground and be dependent and balanced on the other. So, it's a lot more complex than, we think about. But the thing is that, it is pretty tricky to get from that position, and you'll see like a kid that's learning to walk, and that foot gets really exaggerated high and tap, and they're just tum, tum, tum. And this was full length. I could show you my baby impression, but not baby talk impressions. I'm not doing that stuff, So anyways, at least not yet. You never know. But, the baby will then start to kind of look like Frankenstein. The arms are spread out wide, the legs are spread out wide, and they're just like, looking like a monster coming to get you, like I said, like Frankenstein. But, it's using a lot of muscles simultaneously. And, that's a process. And, when you're getting back on your feet, it's going to be a process to learn to re-engage and then acclimate and synergize all of those systems so that you can get moving, right? Eventually, the hips and knees learn to relax a little bit, and it's not so stiff, and then the body finds that automatic, auto nervous system recruitment, and it just becomes natural. But again, it's time. It's a time thing, right? And even with whether it's a child or whether it's you, you might go from walking back to crawling, and that, you'll see a child do that. Like if there's a toy on the ground, instead of trying to stand, now they're just getting the walking part down, almost looking like they're on stilts, they're going to start to like, oh, there's a toy, and they might revert back to the crawling to get that toy or to get whatever, or to get somewhere faster if they need to or want to. And so sometimes we're going to have those moments where we're going to crawl again, Could be a little setback, could be we don't know how to take on this new challenge or clear this new hurdle for ourselves. And so maybe there's a little bit of a backslide, I guess, so to speak. So, there's times where you're going to have that walk-crawl combo, but it's all good. And eventually, go into that little trot. That trot becomes a little run. That run goes from, say, maybe a half a block to a full block, and so on and so forth. So you can do it, but just respect and understand that there is a process and a journey to getting you back on your feet from walking, from crawling to walking to running. So like, share, subscribe. That can apply to a lot of areas of life, you guys. Hope that you found something of worth in it for you. And I'll talk to you again soon.